do this. I have to try and raise it.
The bar isn't something that actually lowers, Mr. Cameron.
What have you been doing all these years?
Le who? The her.
Drinking. Yeah, a lot of drinking.
The bar has been lowered to depths we can't even fathom. If anyone can go down there and raise it back, it's me.
Are you still drinking?
No. I don't. That's behind me now. Why are you buying?
I'm an alcoholic.
Man, you are one pathetic loser.
Jesus, did I really set the bar that low?
Descending to 1,000 feet. I don't see the bar yet. Looks like it must have sunk pretty low.
Boy, that is... talk about setting the bar low.
I'm just loving that new opening. I'm so proud of
Yeah,
myself.
I like it. I like you got some new clips in there. Were those on yesterday, or did you add a couple more?
It's not the same one. So what I added was a Rick and Morty Breaking Bad, the Kingpin stuff. So
okay,
yeah.
I must have missed the Rick and Morty thing, but yeah, good stuff, man. I like it.
And boy, you know something, dude. So this is the first time, as we're talking about backstage, which anybody watching this will say that we haven't watched an older film, so I can actually, if need be, we're not going to do an Enzo like 5-6 hour fucking breakdown, but
sure,
because it's an older film, if you want to talk about a certain section real quick, I can pull up Voodoo and just say, hey guys, we're at the whatever. We're talking about the hour mark or something, because we're just gonna, the whole premise is us just walking out of the theater. And yeah, I mean, even like you said to me yesterday, Alien, I never seen Alien in theaters because I'm not 45 years old, and I first seen Aliens, and when I was a kid I never knew there was an Alien because VHS was different back then. So
same.
I seen Aliens, like I thought Aliens was the first movie in a franchise because I didn't know.
So did I.
I also want to say, my God, this stuff right here, Wes, Lord Toxic, this stuff, the Starry is a very delicious soda, which I got for my Regal cup, and
oh my God,
yeah, it's like
did you use your hard-earned money to get extra stuff?
I don't know, because I use my app, Wes. It's called Regal Unlimited, and
Regal Unlimited. Tell me more.
I went to go see Alien, and I didn't pay for this movie. The 45th anniversary of Alien, and I didn't pay a penny for it.
Wait a minute, blue collar loser. I had to pay $12 even with my military discount and my Regal app. How is it that you didn't have to pay anything at all?
I mean, just think, for $24.99 a month in taxes where they may apply, I got to go see this movie.
How many movies can you see in a month?
It's called Unlimited, Wes, and unlimited, as many as you want.
Can literally just go to as many movies as you want.
I'm telling you, I can't believe it. It's just like it's such a steal. I feel like they should be, I should be paying them more money.
Right. Hashtag except for challengers.
Yeah. So, boy, dude, I'm not sure, Lisa. We just, I guess, as usual, probably kill an hour, because a film like this, we could talk about it for fucking 10 hours. It's such an iconic film.
Many people have done it, and many people have done it better. Yeah, we're not trying to. We're lowering the bar. We're not raising it.
It's just us talking about, our first experience. Because now you said you never saw Alien in theaters, neither have I. And what our experience is, and traveling the Toitus. Hey, Toidle. Hey, buddy. Yeah, we're just bullshitting on a Friday, celebrating the anniversary. Tomorrow, I'm taking my kid to go see The Mummy, and because he never seen it in theaters. Yeah. So, certain films, we talk about this all the time, that, growing up as a kid, watching something on VHS or DVD or even your phone nowadays, compared to back in the day, it's just a different experience seeing something in the theaters for the first time. And like even Die Hard, I don't remember Die Hard as a kid, and bringing my son to see Die Hard in the theaters a month ago. I'd say one thing, man, I've seen Die Hard a 1,000 times, and just watching it again on a fucking big screen, it's an experience. So.
Yeah, no, I will admit that I have seen this on the big screen before. They did a re-release at the 15 year mark, and I did go see it. As you say, this movie came out a couple years before my birth, or a couple years after, rather. So I don't think they'd brought little baby Lord Toxic to but who knows? Maybe my parents did. Maybe that's why it turned out the way I did. I don't know. I'd ask them, but neither of them are walking around anymore, as it should be. But I did see my first experience having cable when I was like 9 or 10. I think it was either HBO or Cinemax or both. was heavily advertising Aliens
Yeah.
back in '87, and I mean that thing was like everywhere
Oh yeah.
on cable. Like they played it like in constant rotation, and I fell in love with it. And we did a
Definitely.
rewatch on your channel.
Yeah.
What, like 6 months ago? We did a rewatch of this.
Time's flying, man. Yeah.
Me,
Been a
you,
while.
Enzo, and I think Luke. I think we got some really good losers lounge reels to it. I don't know if you
Yeah.
want to put it in the comments or something or whatever. But yeah, so I've always been a big fan of that one. Then I saw this after the fact when I was like 12 or 13. And I didn't dislike it, but the lack of, they're two very, very different movies.
Yes.
I mean, and
100%.
it would be ridiculous for me not to address that. I mean, the concepts, of course, is the same. The people stuck behind enemy lines, trapped in a locked area where they can't get out with a monster. Very simple premise, but executed much differently. So it's one of those things where over time, getting into the lore, it's one of those things that I've read novelizations, I've read side novels. This really has quite the expanded universe. If so, I mean, I know you don't read a lot, but there are there's some really, really intelligent novelizations based on these, and the novelization for this one actually came out before was written rather as before the film, and it came out as a companion piece. So and it's gives you a lot of background information, a lot of stuff that we don't see. Some of it is in deleted scenes, some of it's just out there in the ether. So there's this, going into this, it's got a much larger universe than we realize. So, and then of course, obviously it was so successful, they did a sequel, and then that was so successful, they've done requels, prequels, and other sequels to lesser degrees of success, a couple good video games, a couple great ones. So it's really, it's definitely, I would be hard pressed to come up with what's up, Jamalama. I'd be hard pressed to find a film that wasn't so landmark. He did. Ridley Scott did so much with this as a young and upcoming director that it was unheard of. Really visionary.
Yeah, definitely fan dad. And it's one of the things, like you said, it's funny because we talk about sequels and episode 1, you figure this one, and then James Cameron did Aliens, Terminator, and Terminator 2. James Cameron did both of those, but both movies in a franchise, many people could argue that this is a lot more horror. Terminator is a lot more horror. Aliens 2 or Aliens and then Terminator 2 are a lot more action packed, but still some horror, but definitely a lot more action. And like you said, both films, it's a definitely shop us down. Hey Gary, what's up? It's definitely, like the difference of vibe and tone. This one, damn sure rewatching again, just the opening, it just, you get the whole feel of atmosphere. There's like basically no real action, and definitely the horror element, and just small things where, people tend to forget that the first film only has one xenomorph. There's not a bunch of them, it's just one. Just like the first, the first Terminator only has one Terminator. And this is a lot more slow paced, a lot more, methodical. It's so much world building. And, rewatching again, I mean, I can pull up on Vudu, but even on my phone, the face huggers, I mean, a good, like, you figure we're going to like a half hour right here, and nothing, just, world building. Like, we're seeing these things right here, which again,
H.R. Geiger, illustrations come to life.
I mean, it's kind of like, well, I mean, people didn't like Prometheus for obviously all those reasons, but even right here, like you said, with world building, this is building to like some humanoid thing that's a lot bigger than us, and we weren't sure at the time period. But I mean, so the face huggers and the eggs, I mean, it's a good like 32 minutes in before we've even seen these things.
Yeah.
And then like we get the whole, like, there's so much world building where it's like, we eat the face hugger, it's wrapped around his throat, you can't touch it. We get the acid blood, and like, and it's one of the things, it's weird how in a franchise, something starts off with the acid blood. You see the acid blood, it goes through like fucking 4 different like layers of the deck. You're like, oh shit. And I feel like definitely the acid blood wasn't a big thing in the sequels. It was there, but it felt like the first film, they kind of built on how fucking powerful that acid was. Like that shit went through 4 levels of the hull, and you're like, that's one drop of blood. Holy shit.
Yeah. Imagine if they had splattered that thing somewhere, like what would it have done?
Yeah.
But it's and and again, just take a quick second. Hail to everybody in the chat. Thank you guys for joining us on this lazy Friday afternoon for this 45-year-old classic. We do appreciate you jumping in here with us. So, yeah, man, I found that my rewatch of this, it exceeded my expectations. I don't know exactly what I said back when we did our Aliens rewatch with the gang on your Losers Lounge, but I do believe I probably said something to the effect of I much prefer the sequel. After looking at this again, and then of course, spending the rest of the day just kind of puttering around and running errands and listening to various YouTubers and audio clips and other stuff.
The kill the sound with people can just see little tidbits. I heard like if you kill sound, they're kind of more lenient. So.
Oh, is that right?
I mean, that's what the Lance people said. Just show them like small things over here, like the freaking the practical effects. Jesus Christ! I mean, everybody from us, Critical Drink, we said it to death, man. Watching this in the theaters, CGI often doesn't age well. And man, for a movie that's fucking 45 years old, the practical effects are it's breathtaking.
Yeah. It's crazy that this was the 1970s. I mean, sure enough, the tail end of the 1970s. And I think that's what I like about it. It definitely, and Aliens does it as well, but it has this lived in world thing. Not everything is shiny and Star Trek-y, and you know what I mean? It looks like a lived in world. It looks like a realistic version of what conceivably that would look like what this spaceship would look like, and this has informed so many other sci-fi movies and TV shows since then. Anything from, well, of course, the obvious Alien sequels and stuff, but also things like Critters and even all the way up to Firefly, Serenity, like that. This kind of space being this other frontier of but a lived in one where people are living in this spaceship, and it's cold and it's gross and it's kind of crappy and almost like a submarine, and in effect that's what it is. So then and you have this awesome story of this. And when they say alien, I mean, obviously, man, they came up with, like what you just said, they came up with a design. This thing is so flawless. It can attack. You can't really stop it. It can replicate itself with a host of some kind, and you can't kill it. You can't remove it. If you try to remove it, it tries to kill the host. If you try to kill it, it'll.
Adam's right though. Yeah, these guys are truck drivers. I mean, the opening scene is like they're miners. They had to harvest 20 million tons of ore. That's what they're there for. They're not
actually. I'm gonna be the big nerd. I did a big Enzo deep dive on this bitch all day today, and so they're not actually miners. They are actually, they're just basically truckers. They didn't do any of the mining. Yeah, someone else did the mining, and they're just towing the shit back.
Fucking Adam got it.
Yeah, so they're just towing the core or whatever it is, the unobtainium, whatever it is that they've got. They're just towing that back. They're just tow truck drivers. So it's a grimy kind of crappy job.
And just back to again, Wes, like the first time, because we're at the 34-minute mark, just like they said that's practical. Just seeing that shit is just so fucking cool. Just it opens up and you're like, it's like someone built that. That wasn't CG. And when he looks in, it's all pulsating and oozing. And you're like, holy shit, man. That's but it's just how realistic.
Why would you go near that? Like why? Why would you do that?
Yeah, really. It's like, I'm just gonna I'm gonna pet it.
I'm gonna poke my head over it and just see what. See, is it a cute little Easter egg?
These small things too. All you hear is just him breathing. It's just that atmospheric, and like even like the small things, like the veins right there, all the fucking veins that deep. Like somebody built this shit though. Like some guy with just prosthetics. Like the fact that this is not this is a practical effect is fucking. And again, seeing this on the theater for the first time, I'm like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Got him.
Disgusting. Disgusting.
Really.
Very nerve-wracking.
So like I said, it's the whole we're building tension, not much is going on. And I guess the first hour of the film, some people by nowadays standards, and even Aliens and Terminator 2, a lot of people wouldn't appreciate the first hour of a basically horror film, but because this was the late 70s, early 80s, it's even like the Michael Myers franchise, Halloween, Freddy Krueger. A lot of those films, the first hour, sometimes hour and 10 minutes, you're not getting like a lot of slasher gore. I mean, fuck The Exorcist. I mean, Exorcist, you could say most of the action or what the payoffs are at the last half hour. A lot of these movies had to have that slow fucking build up, and something that we're seeing for modern audiences. A lot of kids in a TikTok generation, they can't spend a fucking hour in a theater with nothing going on.
Yeah, I can't even imagine what that would be like. There was like nobody in the theater, so I mean, I don't know. I mean, there was a couple of the usual suspects movie nerds that I ran across and stuff, and God bless them, a couple of the people that work at the theater. But I mean, for the most part, I can't even imagine it. I don't know why they would have it during the day. It
Yeah,
seems like it would have been much better to play this at night, but I don't know.
definitely.
I mean,
Yeah,
not for me to say.
and I've been
Unlike
seeing.
unlike your theater out there, I'm sorry. Unlike your theater out there, when I think I told you this in another stream, when they do a retro whatever, a retro watch of something like this, they only play it the one time. So
Yeah,
it's not like playing all day or multiple showings. It's like it's playing the one time on the one day, and that's it.
yeah.
So you miss it, too bad, so sad.
No, I was just gonna say, because I told this with Lance and other people, is that the reason my son Ford watches this stuff with me, because I've actually raised my son to watch movies with me as much as my dad. We read comics together and watch movies together. So, but so my kid's not the average teenager in 2024. He's this way because I've been watching stuff with him. Like, yeah, you're not taking a 16-year-old, 2024 16-year-old. He's not just gonna get up and go to theater by himself and watch Alien. I mean, but my kid's going because I'm taking him to see it, and it's something that we're experiencing together. But yeah, look at that makeup design, that fucking creature. Oh man, so good.
Yeah. Is
But
he digging it? Is he
oh,
digging
of
doing stuff
course,
like
yeah.
that?
I mean, so
Oh, that's nice. Good
like he
kid.
even said when he was 10 years old, we watched Aliens, and I didn't mind because Aliens. Remember, people would say like, well, back in the 80s, it was a horrible film and scary. Yes, but my kid's also grown up now with Gears of War and Mortal Kombat, so Aliens
Sure.
wasn't scary for him. He was used to it. So I could have even a 10-year-old in this generation can watch Aliens and not be terrified, but it's
Yeah.
fine.
When they re-release, I think I told you this, when they re-released Silence of the Lambs, I did take my son to see that.
Yeah.
I think that was last year or the year before. And he dug that quite a bit. I was
Yeah.
really surprised. So
Yeah, no, I said, guys, more often than not, said I've been, especially with all these re-releases, I love taking my kid to see films that were maybe before his lifetime. But I said the same thing, good films are good films. Star Wars came out before I was born, so then fuck, like Jaws, things like whatever, The Shining, like a lot of films. And because my parents raised me a certain way, I did appreciate movies that came out before I was born. And we keep saying that good film is good film. Time doesn't affect a good storyline. You could say certain special effects, yes, but I mean, obviously Jaws, looking at it now, you can tell it's a big fucking fake shark, but back then it was ahead of its
sure.
time.
But that's not why we love it.
Oh yeah,
We love it for the performances. We love it for, what it did, and
yeah,
how it affects your imagination, and to a lesser degree or equal degree, that's what this movie is about. This
yeah.
is, like you say, we don't see the alien of like the alien proper until a good well into an hour into the movie.
Let me check. Let's see, because I'll keep going forward. Yeah,
Um,
because
but
you remember actor's name? What's the guy who gets the fuck face hugger and it explodes his chest? Is that John Hurt or William Hurt?
it's John Hurd,
John
and
Hurt.
he plays second in command, first officer, Kane.
Okay. Okay. He's the one who's first, and technically speaking, the alien, because we go by canon the fact these aliens, basically the alien is just a version of you. They can't exist without a human host. So technically, Cain, well, the alien comes from Cain, so it's kind of like it's almost like a baby in a sense, like because it's
Yeah,
copying.
yeah, no, it's very psychosexual. Like HR Geiger, he was a sick fuck. Let's just put it
Yeah,
all out on the table. He was a sick fuck, and he came up with these weird designs, and I mean, they had to keep like I've heard stories since I've been listening to YouTube all day talking about Alien and its development and stuff,
yeah,
and it was just stories. People had to keep wrangling him back in,
yeah.
get him back under control because he wanted to make everything look like a vagina. So he had this kind of the kind of psychosexual R word that is
Yeah,
kind of used, and there is a deleted scene of Lambert's death
yeah,
where it appears that the alien
I never
might
realized
be
that.
yeah, the egg is the vagina. Yeah. So when Lambert, the navigator here, is killed,
Yeah.
she is, she's basically frozen with fear, and it appears in the deleted scene that her pants were removed,
Oh
or
shit.
at least ripped off. Yeah. So it's
Oh
sort of
wow.
like a psychosexual, and when you add into the fact that she's the first transgender character ever to be put to film. Because if you look at her data schematics, it says that she was actually born a man.
Huh. Wow.
Yeah.
Is this true? So Fanta, 3 grape scenes in there apparently. So
I mean, if you're counting what happens to Kane, and then what happens to her, yeah, I would say so. I'm not sure what the I guess there's been an argument that the confrontation between Ripley and Ash, the android medical officer, is a sort of it's similar to a grape scene. I don't know if I subscribe to that. I mean, once you start going down that road, then everything becomes
Ash like, I just got is he just wanted to like kill her.
Yeah, he just wanted to shut her down. I mean,
not because he's an android. He's not getting any kind of sexual pleasure.
Yeah, the android wouldn't get. Yeah, that wouldn't do anything for him. But
that's my show is to turn down the volume a little bit. But just again, just the fucking it's John Hurd. I bad with names sometimes.
It's John Hurd. Yes.
Yeah. Just the fuck.
Just say well, his name is Kane. It's Kane.
Okay. But just like this scene again too. We know it's just these are actors holding this guy down. His fucking performance, the way he's screaming and moaning and gyrating, like this is again no CGI. This is a fucking actor. And when you first see the chest explode and the xenomorph, like is that too loud?
No, it's okay.
Like it looks like he's really in fucking pain, dude. Look at that shit. Like, holy crap. And I'm watching the theater, I'm like, you get the sense something's coming out of him. Holy fuck, man. Oh man. That's fucking sick. Consider look, that's fucking 45 years old, dude. That is goddamn impressive. Okay,
but yeah, and I'm sure you know the backstory to that is that the actors were not told what was going to happen, so it was all surprise.
I did not know that. Okay,
you didn't know that? Yeah, they were said that. Yeah, I mean, I guess technically forcing a magazine in her mouth could be construed that way. I mean, I don't know. I don't really subscribe to that. I mean, I guess. I mean, I'm not going to. If that was the intent, then that's fine. I didn't see it that way, but I mean, who knows? Yeah. I just thought it was a really creepy way to unalive somebody. But yeah, the actors here they were like set up the scene, they gave them their dialogue, and they said, hey, something's gonna happen. They didn't know if like the alien was gonna like pop out of the cabinet, or like if he was gonna like they knew something was gonna happen, but they didn't know exactly what. And so like especially the girl that plays Lambert, her reaction is 100%. They got that on the first take where she's just like so disgusted at that noise she makes. That oh my god, like that's her, doing that and that was her actual reaction to that. So yeah, it was and that I think that was brilliant. It's like this was not made on a very large budget, and they had to cut corners where they could and do things that and it's become so iconic now. Everybody knows the alien chestburster scene.
I was like, depends on a magazine, I guess.
Yeah. They don't really show what magazine it is.
You tell the actress, her facial expression, like you said, that's genuine. Like her, look at her face, like I don't know what the fuck's about to happen.
Yeah. She's like, what is happening right now? Even Ian Holm there, who plays Ash on, he doesn't. And look at their reaction. Look at what's his name in the background with the hat that plays the engineer. He's just like, what in the fuck is going on right now?
You paused that shit. Yeah, look at that man. And this said this was back in remember the days of like, well, we broke down the Thing, but like, man, John Carpenter back then, how fucking perfect those practical effects were with the Thing.
Yeah,
the same thing right here. So and then said, and everyone's reaction, like, yeah, look at that. She's like fucking screaming.
Yeah. Well, I think she got splattered with the most. But I got.
Look at a little fucker too, man.
Poor
Dude,
Veronica.
and again, the way he's just
Cartwright.
as an actor, he's going like this. Like, oh, that's fucking man, fantastic. Holy shit.
Yeah.
That's why I can see that some people say this is their, and it's just like creepily looking around too, like this little fucking thing.
Yeah.
And what's he do? Grabs a fucking knife. Like, that's gonna do. Yeah. And, oh no, I forgot too. It's been so long since I watched this that Ash that got plays him. It's fucking Bilbo Baggins. I'm like, I forgot.
Yeah.
He wants to watch this movie. I'm like, hey,
I
Bilbo.
never think of him. I always think of him as either Ash or the bad guy from Hell. I always think of him that. I never think of him as Bilbo Baggins.
Yeah.
For some reason. I don't know why, but I just never really, I guess because I'm really not a Lord of the Rings fan, I guess, ultimately.
Yeah.
But
the hand. So
but yeah, no, it's it's one of those things that they did so much with so little.
Yeah.
And it's really, really amazing. Even to this day. And like I said, the deep dives that I've done to find out this whole extended kind of universe is really amazing.
Yeah.
Not the least of which is the fact that, the company, quote unquote, Weyland-Yutani, had set this up from the beginning. They have this whole it's stuff that's not used. Some of it is in the deleted scenes, a lot more is in the novelization, a lot more is in like the side comics and novels, but like, they were sent off course with a they had a regular science officer that wasn't an android. They put the android in there specifically to I forget what the name of the order is, but there's some kind of order, like order 479, like an order 66 type of thing, where the whole mission is to get, fuck the cargo, fuck the crew. The whole mission is to get this alien species back to the bioweapons division. And of course in the sequel, that's more Carter Burke, because the more advanced androids programming can't be changed to harm cannot be changed to harm humans. So they have to send in like a slimy, corporate exec guy. But in this, 57 years in the previous, they could have, an android that would actually do that and pretend to be a human. Like, this is not like other stuff where they know they have a synthetic or an android on board. He's posing as a person.
I found it. So it's actually Special Order 937. Was a classified retrieval order given by Weyland-Yutani to science officer Ash aboard the Nostromo. And it says the order's main priority was to preserve the xenomorph specimen that was encountered by the Nostromo in the Zeta-2 reticuli system, bring it back alive for analysis. Jesus. That's a mouthful.
So they're actually like, it's not like they were just going idly by and poor Harry, R.I.P. Harry Dean Stanton.
Yeah. Once you're done, I want to show the first time we see the xenomorph.
Sure. They weren't going idly by, like, on their way back from a salvage thing and bringing back, cargo. They were diverted off course and sent to go get this thing. Not like, hey, there's a beacon, because the beacon was saying stay away, which they find out later in the movie. And that's not deleted scenes. That's not it's actually, Ripley susses it out and says, hey, this beacon's actually telling us to not come towards it. So they knew the company knew what they were doing.
Yeah. So like you're saying, this guy's chasing down a cat, and it's an hour and 7 minutes. So we'll say an hour and 8 minutes, 50 seconds. But the first time we see the xenomorph, which they're smart back then, to use it at nighttime, make it a practical effect. Obviously, we know now. Like, of course, as a kid, I thought it was a real fucking alien. This was a person in a suit. Like, when Aliens came out, I thought these fuckers, I didn't know what I was watching. I thought they were puppets, not knowing that this was a bunch of actors that were just wearing a bodysuit with an alien headpiece. So and right here we just have one actor playing a xenomorph, but just again at the time period, man, I can imagine watching this. Imagine being a 10-year-old back in the fucking late 70s, early 80s, watching this in a theater for the first time. You probably shit give you fucking nightmares, man.
Like, I don't think they were allowed to bring kids in then.
Look at that. First time we're seeing the cat's watching. What an asshole cat.
Yeah, typical cat. Just like, well, not my problem. You should have filled my dish a little bit more.
You're kitty. Yeah. But I forgot to say. Just want to look at the practical effects of that. So here we go. And yeah, so basically we just have like for like the last hour is these guys wanting to kill this thing, and of course then we get into later on Ash wants to attacking Ripley. But so at this point in the film, like we have no indication he's an android, right? Basically until the reveal.
No, yeah, it's not until the actual confrontation. He's posing as, like I said, in later missions and earlier ones. And that just shows the machinations of the company, is the fact that like if you go by like Prometheus and what's the other one, Alien Covenant, those two take place before this, right? And they know David's an android. It's understood, like we got to have an android on board, blah blah blah. But those missions that those two are doing, they're actually doing searching missions. This is just a bunch of tow truck drivers picking up cargo and bringing it back. There's no reason for them to have an android on their ship. So he was placed there, and in one of the side novels, or the novelization rather, excuse me, I'm sorry, it's revealed that there was a science officer that had worked with Captain Dallas on many other missions, and then they just last minute replaced this guy like the day they went to go into the cryostasis to head out for the mission. And he was kind of perturbed by that, like, hey, I've worked with this one science officer all these other times. Why are you swapping him out all of a sudden? So yeah, it was a big reveal to them. Now, unlike the other scene though, like this was, well mapped out, and the actors that were in it knew what was going on, and stuff like that. Yaphet Kotto, just dude, he slays in this role. He's so great. This was one of his first movies that he had done, and definitely, I think it's one of the first big movies that he appeared in for sure. And he's so great coming in here, just wrecking, doing basically what all of us, blue collar roughnecks would do. It's like, fuck this shit. I'm just gonna hit this thing with a fire extinguisher, and let the pieces fall where they may.
Yeah, I'm trying to find a magazine part, because right here it's like at this point we still think he's a science officer. He's being very cold and calculated. But yeah, she kind of gets a little bit when she looks at him, and you see the fucking the white milk basically coming down his coming down his forehead. So right now we understand the fact that something's wrong with this guy. It's like he's not normal. But like at this point we're still unsure. Like as an audience member, you're like, what the hell why is this guy got fucking like white milk coming down his right. Floor? So I'm trying to find a scene where he said he put in a magazine. Why he chose a magazine, I'm not sure. But,
I don't know, like a silencer, or maybe he's just not programmed to kill, and that's something that like now the reason why he's having that the milky residue that they use for blood. The reason why that's coming down is because he is actually experiencing a malfunction because of behavioral inhibitors. So like it's not as advanced as like the Bishop model that we get in Aliens. It's not as advanced where he can go, I cannot allow a human to be hurt. Like, and he's such a Chad in the Aliens movies. Bishop just basically like completely sacrifices himself for not only Ripley and the crew, but for the little girl at the end. Even when he's ripped in half, he's just like, no, I'm going to save this child. Whereas, there were those inhibitors in these earlier models, but it was the fact that it wasn't so advanced. So the thing is basically, it's sort of like, I don't know if you ever saw 2001, A Space Odyssey. It's sort of like how the machine being given conflicting orders, being told to do one thing that would endanger the crew, and then something else. So it's causing like a major malfunction in his AI mind. He's like, I'm supposed to protect this crew and protect the mission, and I'm supposed to keep my cover, but I'm also supposed to silence Ripley, and I'm supposed to protect this alien, which is going to hurt the crew. So he's been given these conflicting orders, which, we would call that a moral gray area, but, obviously an AI machine, they can't grasp the concept. Yeah, he's definitely malfunctioning for sure.
Yeah, and then we come to find out, like, well, the whole, like, the reason he's doing this for is because he was given orders by the company to fucking preserve the alien, but, we don't, well, the crew doesn't know this. It's like, why are you guys trying to keep this dangerous being alive for? Because, of course, as you know, the government orders in the military, what's the first thing you do with a different alien or some kind of a new, like, whatever entity you want to use they want to weaponize it eventually.
Right.
You know, it's always the military would keep something like this alive for. If you want to keep an alien species with fucking acid blood, of course you want to study it.
Well, also, I mean, let's be honest, it is the perfect weapon. You know,
True.
it's imagine just having like imagine us being at war with another country or even planet, whatever, and we have a we have an enemy there, and we just drop off a bunch of those aliens. It's just gonna just wreck shit. And then you can just nuke the planet after that, or whatever you're gonna do. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what the end game there is with that, but
No, I
yeah,
just
man.
wonder. I have to wonder how many fucking takes was Sigourney. He's putting this shit actually in her fucking mouth, dude. This dang face.
Yeah.
Like, look at this.
Yeah, it's definitely disturbing.
And both of them too, man. Just fucking. Oh man, it's like how many takes did that take for them too? Because you have to sit down and rehearse that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, Adam, definitely. So, yeah, and then so that's basically. I mean, the last half hour of the movie is just these guys, like they're getting. Well, yeah, it's like you've seen David or not David. Wow, Ash, but him just breaking down, like, yeah, like you said, he's fascinated by it. It's like she's like, you admire it, and he's like, just how simplistic it is, but also raw. Plus, it's ability to adapt in different environments. It's I think I mean it is scared of fire, but it can survive like harsh heat, harsh winters. It's got acid blood. Yeah, it's the fucking perfect killing machine. I mean, why wouldn't you want to study it for?
Yeah.
And he's even saying that when he was first studying the face hugger, it's like he was talking about the way it could like shed its skin cells and get like a carbon like outer shell. Like, what does that mean? He goes, well, he's like, it's a tough little bastard to kill.
Right.
So the more Ash is studying that, and of course we don't know this, but because he's an android, all the stuff he's finding, he's sending this information back to fucking Wayland Yutani there. So they're reading these stats about this new being, like this new entity. Like hell yeah, want to fucking capture this thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's pretty much the last half and say not much the movie goes on in the sense that just these guys, the rest of the crew. So at this point, because you figure the crew was 7 people. So of course the one guy gets the face hugger, Ash is the second one. So down and then the guy with the hat there, he's killed. So we only have 3 besides Ripley, 3 other crew members, and that's it.
At the point after Brett gets killed, I believe it's just Lambert. Lambert. God, what's Yaphet Kotto's name? Parker. Lambert, Parker, and Ripley.
Yeah.
At that point, because Ash is obviously not important. Captain Dallas and Kane have been killed, and Brett has been killed.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just the 3 of them left at this point.
Yeah, and we do see small things that pop into Aliens, but like even the motion tracker, it's definitely more prominent in Aliens, but like the motion tracker is there. They have like little I mean, you do hear like the sound effects and stuff that come out. Whenever they shoot the gun, she's got the gun, you hear like this, not the same as the Colonial Marines, but still you hear it.
Yeah. That adds to a level of tension. Is just hearing that boop, 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 boop.
And even like right here, it's this is not, they're not as advanced because the Colonial Marines is later on, but even she has like a small weapon like this with a flamethrower. So it's like, man, it's not much, but it's something.
Well, they have weapons. So they have weapons. They only show them very briefly, but they have weapons, but they can't use the weapons in the ship because you could put out a fire, and most of the hull and the interior of the ship is fire retardant. But their projectile weapons, like their guns, you see it very briefly when they go down to the planet. They could use them down there, but they can't use them. They can't risk breaching anything or damaging anything inside of the ship. Yeah. So they do have firearms of a nature, but they can't use them.
Yeah.
So
I posted right there. This is an actual behind the scenes of Sigourney Weaver. She said back in the day, guys, she had a flamethrower. This was her doing it.
Wow. That's impressive.
He's violating her in the same way the facehugger does earlier. Yeah, but no, it's Sigourney fucking testing out the actual flamethrower. Like fucking good on her, man. Shit.
Yeah,
that's her first time.
How many times in your life are you gonna get a chance to do that? Yeah, Ripley's character was written non-gender, like they weren't specific
really
to whether or not they were gonna use a man or a woman. Ripley was just warrant officer, or Lieutenant Ripley. So it wasn't really it wasn't specific to that, but coming up with the idea of having a woman as your final girl kind of thing back before final girl was even a thing.
Yeah.
And having the fact that, you know, she has that really tense confrontation with Ash, and the fact that, you know, later, you know, it had already been written but not utilized till the sequel, but the thing with the daughter, you know, that she had left behind. So that
Yeah.
all gives it a kind of, you know, an atmosphere. And they probably, I mean, let's be honest, they probably had a pretty good idea, like, hey, we're gonna put her in like really, really short, small underwear with a small tank top, 70s style at the end, and that'll get some more asses in the seats.
Showing a cat,
So I mean,
the cat
yeah,
right there. It's like, you know, oh,
yeah,
I'm going to go to bed with the cat, and nothing else is going to happen. Movie's over. Like, no, it's not.
yeah,
Because right there, we have like another. That's basically the final 10 minutes is just, you know, Ripley coming because she's the only survivor out of the whole fucking crew, and
hmm
dealing with the alien herself.
Well, she's not the only survivor, and I don't mean the cat. It's revealed later in one of the sequel books that Ash had actually downloaded his essence
Really?
into the computer system and merged with it. This is why a lot of, you know, some people look at it as a loophole or a plot hole,
Yeah.
but she was only supposed to be 6 weeks away from the outer frontier of space. So how did she, you know, with all the advances, how did she drift around for 57 years? It was because Ash was in the computer
Oh
fucking
shit!
with her. Yeah,
Wow.
he was looking for a reason. And whether or not this will be addressed in the Alien Romulus movie, show, whatever that is
Yeah.
it a show or is it a movie?
I'm pretty sure. I'll find out. I thought it was a show, but could be wrong.
I'm almost thinking it was a show, but you know, right now I'm drawing a blank. I don't know.
Yeah, there's so much going on with the fucking entertainment world. You know,
Yeah.
No, it's actually a film. Okay.
Oh, it's
So
okay.
movie. Okay.
So whether or not that'll be addressed there, I don't know. But you know, I did read the book, and it was interesting. And it just basically shows that, you know, Ash is,
Yeah.
you know, he's gone all the way down towards, you know, like my main thing is to make sure that this weapon gets back to the company, and you know, he infiltrates the computer system and has to be purged from the computer system later,
Yeah.
in order for her to even be found.
This was at the end. Ripley right here, of course. She puts the cat in the crowd sleep, and she's about to get ready, and everything's fine. You know, movie's over, and we hear some fucking noise, and just like the terror of like that fucking. She looks over, and it's like, wait a second, it's in not in events, but like she's kind of still waking up. You look over, and it's just like, oh shit, and it just man, the fucking the hand, but just the makeup job, man. Look at that shit, like
yeah, it's all wet and sticky.
I
and
know.
gross.
And of course, that she's about to go to bed, and just realize, oh shit, it's still fucking here. Like I have to get out and confront it.
Well, she's not only just thinking of that; she's also thinking of like, I can't bring this thing back with me to Earth.
Yeah.
You know.
I forgot. Yeah, but in the first film, were they heading back to Earth? I'd never.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
that was the whole plan. That was the thing. You know, they're woken up, you know, halfway, because it's supposed to be like 12 or 13 weeks it takes to get from wherever it is they were towing this thing back from, the payload. And Dallas says, you know, you guys will realize we were only halfway there.
Yeah.
So
I can't help it because we're both perverts. But you know, Sigourney, you know, I've never been the most attracted to her, but I mean, come on, this is for any guy. I mean, shit, I'm not complaining.
Yeah, she's definitely a product of her time. You know, 1970s hot. Yeah, tall and thin. You know, I don't know what, like, did they not have underwear in their proper size, or like what? You know, what was the deal there?
It's all right. Fine with that.
Yeah. All right. Well, whatever works.
What was it? Somebody was joking like, "What's the fuck? The Aliens, the 4K remaster, gonna have fucking have Ripley's bush back in it?"
Oh, yikes! Gross. Grody. Grody.
Yeah, I mean, and basically after that, I mean, just she defeats the alien and goes to bed. What's up right here? And so I do want to check. Let you don't you want to kill him because we got 45 minutes in. I mean, I'll check. Let's see the Rotten Tomatoes stats and the reception for Aliens. And I mean, didn't know, like, did Alien do good at the box office? What was the reception of it? Like,
I believe it was very well done. I think, I think they did really good. I'd have to specifically Google was it a hit back then under those standards?
Yeah.
But I want to say it was.
I mean, we still get, look, I mean, 200, $250,000 fan ratings, but still 94% fan, 93% critics. We check out Alien box office versus budget. So, I mean, obviously it spawned more films in the franchise, but just curious.
Yeah.
Let's see, look at Alien's budget. So the budget on Alien was $11 million. Okay. For back then. And of course, 1979, that's still pretty, you know, it's still a decent sized budget. Let's see, budget and box office. Why doesn't that tell me for? Damn it. Alien film. So, I mean, yeah, 11 million. Let's see, film box office. Wow. So it did fucking 185 million, almost 200 million for 1979. Wow. That's fucking, it actually did more money than Alien 3.
It's surprising that it took so long for them to come up with a sequel.
Yeah, I could believe it. I remember Adam, I was pretty young. No, yeah, let's see, what was it? Was it 9 years later for Aliens? But
well, Aliens came out in 86, so whatever
79
minus 79 is.
So yeah, 7 years, which, you know, it's not too unheard of back then. I mean, the biggest thing, well, Cameron was different for Terminator 2. Is Terminator 2, he had to film The Abyss to get the CGI ready for Terminator 2. That was different, but
sure.
I mean, 7 years for a sequel is not too bad, but you know, I guess for considering, I mean, I guess you know, you don't want to pump out sequels too fast and get shitty sequels, because we've seen.
Yeah, we have definitely seen how that happens. But yeah, you know, it's a really deep mythology. It's a shame that Alien versus Predator films kind of turned into these kind of, you know, almost grindhouse thrillers type, you know, where they, you know, because they shit on the lore, because you see at the end of Alien versus Predator Requiem that, you know, the company steps in, Weyland-Yutani, and they step in and, you know, they retrieve the Predator weapon and talk about how to possibly use the aliens in the future. So, you know, it's obviously been on their radar for a while. And doing a deep dive into this, you know, you find out that the only one that was a real specific hard charger for the crew was Ripley. She's the only one that follows protocol. So you got like Dallas. Dallas, it turns out, even though he seems like a really chill commander and stuff, he actually was a company man working on an assignment where he actually jettisoned his own crew in order to save himself, and wound up getting this shitty like tow truck type assignment. So there was some problems with that. So he's definitely a company man, Dallas. And then you go into, obviously, the second in command, Kane. He had been known to be a bit of a, you know, he kind of loved adventure a little too much, had a substance abuse problem, and, you know, had gone out and done this job as a way to kind of like salvage himself. But he was known to take like unnecessary risks. And then you have third in command Ripley, who's your only real solid one. She's kind of an up and comer, but I mean, you could also, going by the company standards, you could look at that and go, well, maybe she can be manipulated. She's a divorced mom, you know, a single mom, and she's trying to do good and work her way up through the ranks in the company. Maybe she'll pretty much just do what she's told under those circumstances.
That's a really good picture right there, showing the only characters actually hold weapons in the movie.
Right. Then you've got the science officer, which is, of course, they replaced the science officer with one that they could control, being an android. You've got Lambert, the navigator, and, you know, she's obviously got problems. You know, they do a deep dive into her, like she's got antisocial behavior problems, you know, ADHD, all this shit, that she's basically a product of like TikTok culture, what we have now. So like in that way, Ridley Scott was really a fucking, you know, prognosticator, seeing in the future, because I mean, she's basically like what a TikTok chick would be working out in outer space. You know, she's a they them, you know, got a lot of problems, and, you know, it doesn't react. She's like borderline autistic, all this bullshit.
Yeah, like you're saying, it's hard to see this because of fucking Google nowadays, but reading the article, I tried to get the picture up if you can read it. I know it's hard to read the small print, but it does say right there. So it says subject is converted at birth, male to female. And that was back in 1979. So far, no indication of suppressed trauma related to gender alteration. So yeah, well, it says, and they talk about personality for two. So social counts are too low for a large crew. Upload status. So yeah, she's got a whole backstory if you actually could pause back and read it. But you know, it's like back, especially if you're VHS, you didn't have time to read all that text.
Right.
But
Sure.
it did say it like even back in 1979, because it's supposed to be taking place in the future. Well, we're not sure. Like, actually, that's something too. Is it ever said what year? I never got that from Alien.
2075, I think, or something.
Okay. Yeah,
somewhere
so,
that I mean, I could find out for you real quick, but
sure. But apparently said, you know, in the future you can have a person, you know, converted male to female.
Yeah. But then you have, so basically you have the company stacking the deck. All the people I just mentioned, they're flight officers. They're actual officers.
What's the black dude's name for
Parker.
Parker. Okay.
So Parker and Brett are basically your construction worker types, like like they're just the hired help. That's why they have that big you know, bullshit at the beginning of the thing where they're like, you know, hey, we are, how come we're not getting a bonus check like you guys are getting? We need to be getting a bonus check because, you know, they're all flight officers, whereas these guys are just, you know, like lowly enlisted crew members, you know, mechanics, the blue collar guys, so to speak.
Yeah. Damn. So if you look that up, yeah, I just want to pull up again because just the scenery here, the final confrontation between Ripley and Alien, and just I love it. Said Sigourney, her acting, but just still at this point, after the end of the fucking film, she's not yelling, screaming, she's not girl bossing, she's not pulling off her fucking muscle. She's goddamn terrified, and you can hear in Sigourney's voice how fucking afraid she is, and she does technically beat it, but like barely, but also not really beating in the sense she's killing it. She's just opening the airlock, but just surviving this encounter. It's like.
Yeah.
Like,
okay, so I was a little off. So let's see. Alien takes place in 2122.
Okay. I mean, I'm sure we have advances in technology, science, technology, and gender issues. Like she's looking over, like, holy shit, man! Like,
yeah.
And there it is in all of its glory, and. Yeah, and just said, and she just like very, very easily or luckily makes that the end too. But said she defeats it, but like that's like by the fucking skin of her teeth.
Yeah,
and yeah, we say goodbye.
That's because I blew it out of the goddamn airlock.
No, because it mostly comes out with wrong movie, but such an iconic scene. So yeah, I mean, said so many people out there, you know, just rewatching again, dude, for the first time in my life, seen in the theater, especially in a dark setting. Just such a different tone than the first movie for a second movie. And if so many people say this is my favorite movie, I couldn't fight you on that. I can get why some people, as a horror fan, would prefer this over part two. But you and me, as action fans who we grew up with Arnold and Stallone and fucking Van Damme, so we were used to 80s action. So I can, you know,
I mean, we're more products of the 80s than we are of the 70s. I mean, I was born in the 70s, but it's not something that, you know, I mean, it has, you know, for a 70s film, it has more of a upbeat ending than you would suspect. But yeah, it's one of those things that, like I said, doing a rewatch for this, and you know, I appreciate you giving me the opportunity. Doing a rewatch for this has given me a better appreciation of what this actually is than I had before.
Oh,
so I'm sending you the link to the timeline, just so you know.
Even a small thing that you mentioned, because this actually plays until the end of the movie, as she's talking about everybody who died, she mentions, like, you know, it should take me 6 weeks to reach the frontier. So she says the word 6 weeks, not fucking, was it 70 years until part two?
57.
7, yeah.
And right, and that's because of Ash's involvement.
With a little luck, the network will pick me up.
Yep. So
this is Ripley, last survivor of the Nostromo. Signing off.
Dun dun dun.
And the thing is, you know, she was not supposed to survive. You know, it's not like the company doesn't believe her in the sequel. They know what happened.
Yeah, I know it's
So they, you know, they set her up for failure.
so realizing this fucking franchise, like, you know, the real villain's not the aliens, it's a goddamn Weyland Yutani.
Yeah.
Everyone's setting all this bullshit up.
Yeah, like she says in the sequel, she's like, I don't know which species is worse. You don't see them setting each other up for a goddamn percentage. So, but going back a bit towards when they first encounter it, if you remember, Ripley is the only one that follows protocol.
Yeah.
Even though Lambert loses her shit and fucking starts screaming and slapping at her and, you know, all that kind of stuff. And even though the captain gives it, you know, you have to wonder why the captain gave such a gross order. You know, he's like, you know, she's like, no, listen, we got to do quarantine. You know, this is standard. And the captain is not, he's not paying attention to it, and they disregard it. Now, of course, we know why Ash did it, because his main directive was to protect the alien and get it in there. But the captain, as laid back and chill as he appeared, was definitely a company man and was there and only put in charge of, you know, he's an ex-military guy put in charge of, you know, this truck driver ship. This was probably his way to get back. They knew that he would break the rules that they needed him to break. So the company really stacked their deck with this crew.
Yeah, nice, dude. Let's say, as we said, we'll kill just an hour because, you know, it's a film like this. We have something like Enzo. We could do like an EFAP style where just it's not hard for like, know, if we had like you, me, Enzo, and Luke to do fuck a frame by frame 5-hour alien discussion. I'm sure at some point, maybe even Enzo with his channel, I can imagine Enzo saying, you know, guys, let's do a 5-hour alien 1, 2, 3, fucking 4, 5 Romulus. Fucking
I could be okay with that one.
I can see Enzo doing like, because technically speaking, when you get to, what was it, Prometheus and Covenant, and if you even want to go into the whole Alien versus Predator, but like it's not hard to do a fucking massive 10 film breakdown on.
Oh, sure. Yeah, I'd much rather spend our time doing that than talk about Godzilla for 8 hours or fucking Ninja Turtles.
I mean, I already know the fucking the answers for you, but just I mean, it's protocol for us. But of course, did I like it?
No, go ahead.
Did I like it? The movie is the definition of a classic. Seen it for the first time in theaters. Did I like it? Of course, fucking loved every second of it. But I do appreciate, you know, the tone difference between this and Aliens, and just it was so great seeing this for the first time in theaters. I might go check it out again with my kid, because I know, like, for you, I think they're playing it for 1 day, but to my knowledge, my area I think is playing it for like 2 or 3 more days.
Yeah, so my theater just doesn't do. Yeah, when they do re-releases, they don't show them multiple times. They show them 1 day, one time, and that's it.
It's like for the Mummy, they're supposed to be playing the Mummy 25th for 1 day. They actually extended the Mummy from today until next week, so I got an entire week to see the Mummy. So I'm pretty sure they're playing Alien. I might just go see Alien again, just to appreciate how fucking. Because I mean, when's the next time I'll actually get the chance to see this in the theaters?
Sure.
So
yeah, no, awesome.
Of course, question number 2: would both of us recommend it? Not even a question. Come on. Yeah. And in terms of our fucking money, I mean, yeah, I did use my Regal app, but no bullshit. If this was $20, I would have spent $20 to go see this in the theater, and I would have not been sorry.
Yeah, I agree on all the points. I'll even go a little step extra and just say I like it more than I've liked it before. I've seen it multiple times.
Yeah, definitely.
I liked it doing this deep dive, and so that I could say something intelligent about it. I definitely, if you can, I don't know what you're, you know, wherever we're talking, whether it be the UK or you're in New York, Kansas, California, whatever. I don't know where you have the availability. If you have a chance to go see it in the theater, I definitely recommend it. If you don't, well, fuck it, put it on streaming, you know, and just give it a rewatch. It's worth it. I think you'll find something, and maybe we helped you discover something about it. It's definitely worth your money.
Yeah, and of course, our tier system. I mean, come on, what's the tier of this movie? It's fucking top shelf.
Top shelf, yeah, for sure, top shelf. Yeah, this is the good. This is the good shit, people. This is what movies should all aspire to be.
Yeah.
This is what has allowed for Ridley Scott to churn out disaster after disaster of dog shit in the last 25 years, because people are still remembering this from 45 years ago. You know, this is how Ridley has gained his appeal.
And what sucks too is, like, man, imagine it said it had Alien 6-film collection. 2 movies are fucking perfect. The third one, I don't know. Sometime I wouldn't mind watching part 3 with you and Enzo and Luke, because
I hate it. I hate it so much.
I'm divided, because, like, I think even Good Gord King said, for some reason, like, Part
I
three,
don't.
it's kind of bad, but there's some things I like about it. I'm not sure why.
I
don't
just
know.
hate it for. I just hate it because it undoes everything
Yeah.
from Aliens. That's
But
really the only problem.
how'd you feel about Resurrection? Again, Resurrection. I don't know why. It's
I like it. I like
yeah,
Resurrection.
yeah. Then of course you got
It's very Joss Whedon-y. It's very Joss Whedon-y.
Yeah, see, Melvin's like Alien 3 is good. Yeah, Alien 3 is divided. A lot of people.
It is not good. No, it's not good by any estimation, Melvin.
A lot of
You're
people.
100% wrong.
I have a soft spot for part 3. I'm not sure why, but again, it's been a while since I watched
I wish
it.
they had gone with the original idea of what they were going to do, the original concept that they were going to do with Hicks and Newt and
Really?
Ripley. I wish they had done that. Well, too much to get into right now, my friend. Maybe that's a conversation for another stream.
I think I just something Sigourney Weaver shaving her head. I respected it. I don't know. And it wasn't, and I think that was like she was at the time the highest paid actress for Alien 3.
I have no doubt. I have no doubt about that.
We'll do deep dive.
Yeah, I have a soft spot for Resurrection, and I have a soft spot for Requiem that people don't like. Either one of those. I like those for what they are. I like them. But Alien 3 just undoes so much stuff from Aliens that I just have a hard time reconciling it.
Yeah, I hear you. So, all right, yeah. I mean, that's like that picture there. Her alien baby from fucking Prometheus or not Prometheus, Resurrection. Yeah.
Yeah, Resurrection's definitely a late.
I'd like to hear about that, buddy. That's Inside Man.
Oh well, shit, man. We should have had you on.
We'll definitely talk about that in the future. Talk to him and Lance about eventually Enzo will do our Alien deep dive. We'll figure something out because
with Romulus, Romulus comes out this year, right?
Oh yeah, I'll look up right now before we head out. Let me see. Alien,
sometime this year, I think it does.
Romulus
with the little girl from Civil War, isn't it? Right? Kaylee Spaney.
Sure.
From Civil War, isn't it?
Yeah, Kaylee Spaney. You're right. What is the release date?
I thought it was this year, but I could be wrong.
August 16th
of this year, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, well, so hey, Richop's Inside Man. Definitely. We'll do a deep dive. That I'm sure we could talk Enzo into making his weekly Tales of the Dork Side about all things Alien that week. I'm sure we can convince him of that.
Yeah. But like we said, guys, it's just our quick hour breakdown. I mean, because it's our first time doing an older film, not our last time. I'm not sure what your schedule is. I'm not against doing like a Mummy 25th breakdown. We'll see how your schedule's going to be, dude.
I'm not a big fan of the Mummy. I'm going to be honest with you. I just it is what it is. I've seen it the one time and I liked it, but not enough to really ever watch it again.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, guys. Yeah. Thanks for joining. I'm not sure. So it's like, we'll eventually get down to a major breakdown. This is just our initial reaction. Had a fucking great time. I'm looking forward to seeing more movies. There's a lot, still more films I've never seen in a theater for the first time, and we'll see what happens. I know I know you're not a big Lord of the Rings fan, but people are looking forward to June, them doing the extended upgraded 4K remasters of Lord of the Rings.
Oh, wow. I'm so sorry. I'm going to miss all that. I think I'm busy. I don't know what day that comes out, but I'm pretty sure I'm busy on that day.
I can check real quick for head out. I think there's some.
I'm not going to. That was me saying I'm not going to watch it. Man.
I know there's some other releases coming out this year. I know this is this year. I mean, I'll talk about later on with you this year, but I know fucking Blazing Saddles is hitting its 50-year anniversary.
Yeah.
Yeah, Blazing Saddles, man. Like, Jesus Christ.
I don't know if that would be any kind of advantage seeing that in the theater, but I'm definitely going to see a couple of them Spider-Man movies in the theater when they come out. I just, again, it just sucks because, I mean, I love where I live. I love my town, but I don't have access to the movies in the way that you do. They don't play a lot of them. It's an 8-screen theater.
Yeah.
And it's just, and then of course with work, if when they play these re-releases and they just play them the one time, I either catch it on a day where I'm off like today, or I'm not catching it at all.
All right.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, guys. Well, we're head out. Thanks for hanging out with us. We'll see you for whatever our next little bar is going to be. I'm not sure yet. Whatever you want to see next in theaters.
Yeah. Stay toxic, everybody.
Oh, yeah.